Hey guys, last week I posted a talk that I did with Matt Shackelford, and this week I'm posting the one that he did with Cam Garrity. It was a really great talk, and you get to learn a lot more about the other side of the Puppeteers podcast. They recorded this back on December 3rd. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. Here it is.
What's happening? Welcome to Puppet Shack Live. Welcome, guys. Excited to have you. We're going to be talking with Cam Garrity tonight. Super stoked. He is from Puppeteers podcast, and inviting him on. So please welcome the amazing Cameron Garrity. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah!
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you? Good to see you again.
Good, good. It's a little distorted, but no worries. I love your headphones, man. I feel like I'm on an inverted version of Puppeteers podcast.
Yeah. Adam had these from like way back, and I was like really. One day I tried them on. I was like, these are fantastic, and so I got a pair for myself. And it's nice now too, because it feels like the uniform for the show.
Oh yes, exactly. You got your headgear and you got your mugs.
Yes, we do. And shout out to Office Sign Company in Fargo, North Fargo. Hold on, I got the box right here. Yeah, Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh yes.
And they do all of our mugs for us, and they're fantastic, a really nice quality, and they do orders for us all the time, so we love working with them.
Nice.
Yeah,
dude. So you got the shipping box right there. Is it?
It's literally it's literally the mug that I use for the show. I have propping up my phone right now on my dresser, so I keep the box for transport because we record at Adam's house, and it's got the sticker on the side. This is a fun little Puppeteers story. For a while, I kept my mug at Adam's house, but they wouldn't always end up back in like his kitchen or in a safe spot. So there would be times where I would go and like drink my water or my, if I had soda or hot chocolate or whatever. It's like, why does this taste like spray paint?
Oh my God.
It's like, oh, and then I think it was one day I was watching one of his tutorial videos and I saw my red mug that I drink out of getting sprayed. And I was like, oh, I need to buy my own and keep it safe from really any adhesives or glues or anything.
Anything that's
not a liquid I want to put in my body. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. So for those of you who are watching that don't know, this is Cam Garrity. He is the co-host of Puppeteers podcast that is on Adam Krutinger's YouTube channel and podcast as well, correct? Is that it's just called Puppeteers podcast, correct?
Yeah, the full name is Puppeteers Puppetry Shop Talk, but we just go by Puppeteers podcast for the most part. Yeah.
So awesome. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. You guys just y'all have interviewed some amazing people, anywhere from different Sesame Street puppeteers to former big puppeteers like Steve Whitmire, former Kermit the Frog. Oh, yeah. I switched Kermit's on you, by the way.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that one, but
you know what? I think it might just be one of those off ones, but he is my Kermit on the shelf. I do every year.
Oh, nice.
So one of the kids in my kids' church years ago, he knew I was a Muppet fan, and he gave that to me one year. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So sweet. So sweet. He found it in like a antique shop or whatever, and had his parents buy it for me. So that was so sweet. So ever since then, I've been using him even before we had kids, as our resident Kermit on the shelf, elf on the shelf. Which, speaking of, I got Elf. I am not
I am
here.
not.
Shout out to Baby Yoda in the new stuff. Have you seen any of that?
You know what? I haven't yet. Only for no other reason than I've just had other things that I've been watching. I enjoy Star Wars. I already have my tickets for Episode 9 when it comes out, but I've not. I'm not like enough of a Star Wars buff that I like was watching it day of. I want to catch up on it, but
you know what? I'm not either. We've got a certain co-host of yours that has just.
I know.
joined.
I saw it a minute ago. Yeah, that's great.
What's happening, Adam? How you doing? And with that, I haven't actually even watched it either, and I don't like spoilers, like anything spoilers. Like I don't even like to watch commercials, but so much. Even Adam, thank you very much, had even made a little like Baby Yoda hat thing recently. So I'm like, I saw it randomly. I'm like, oh, is that just just something like a cool concept someone came up with, or a new movie? And then I started seeing more. I'm like, oh, it's the Mandalorian stuff. So super exciting. It is a great time to be a puppeteer and be a puppeteer fan. I don't know if that's an actual like puppet, or I think it is.
Fan of puppetry, puppet connoisseur.
Well, no, I mean Yoda, but like, I think Baby Yoda is a puppet.
He is, yes. And I don't remember the name of the shop that worked on them. Adam just sent me a link of theirs the other day, actually. But they also worked on, if you watch the Macy's Day Parade, there was the E.T. commercial. Couldn't tell you what E.T. was selling. Maybe it's someone out there knows. But it was they got the actor who played Elliot. And and I wasn't sure as I'm watching it, like, wow, is that CG? Is that a puppet? But they actually had there was a puppet company that built that ET and worked on Baby Yoda as well. So.
Oh, dude, that is so cool. Well, mad props. If if you're watching this and you know the puppet company that made ET and made Baby Yoda, give us a holler. I'm sure Adam probably does. If he doesn't, he's a terrible puppetry knowledge guy.
not true at all. No. And if I didn't only have my phone here, I'd look it up on my computer from the sent. But
so, dude, super cool. Thank you again so much for being on here. I am super stoked. I've just been I started this thing just doing Facebook Lives, and it's kind of gotten away from me. And and Puppeteers podcast has been a huge inspiration of this. So I got to thank both you and Adam for that, because, dude, it really is what I love about Puppeteers, is what I love about doing this and doing these lives is the amazing puppetry community on social media, and just being able to connect and see other puppeteers, see professional puppeteers, and see amateur puppeteers, and seeing everything about it. It's just a blast. So thank you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And Adam's a little more connected with it because of how prominent his YouTube channel is, and how long he's really been kind of creating a community. I feel like I'm in on the tail end of it, because I've been riding his wave the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. But yeah, I mean, just to realize how many people are out there. I feel, being a member of the Puppeteers of America, and having gone to festivals and conferences and stuff, I've always kind of felt a connection to the community, but to see just how many more people who are out there on the internet and just able to be a part of that has been really, really incredible. And Adam just let us know that it was Legacy Effects that worked on Baby Yoda and E.T. But yeah, so it's been really great. And I mean, and I've shared this before with other people, but it's always worth saying again, is just how surreal it is to be talking to a lot of the people who we have come on. I mean, Adam came to the Muppets sort of later on, and has been a huge fan, and he's really immersed himself in it. But like, I was that kid in first grade who like had
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
The coffee table books and stuff, and like I knew who Pam Arciero was and Martin Robinson and Louise Gold before like I knew who the presidents were. So like the fact that. Yeah, I mean, because that was just like, that was what I was interested in, and that's what I liked learning about and absorbing myself in. So like, to not only have, kind of become friends with them through the experiences that I've had at conferences, but then I was saying, I did, if you know DJ Bob Brunkle, he's got the DJ Bob Show. It's a podcast that's been out and around for about 9 years now. And, I was saying to him, like, I never realized, like, in all the years that I've known Pam, just talking with her for an hour and a half, just her, me, and Adam, was unreal. And that's an experience that, like, I never personally had gotten. I don't think a lot of people have. She runs this great puppetry conference, and she's always in a million different directions. And just to be able to sit with some of these people, I mean, like I said, Steve Whitmire, Louise Gold.
Dude.
And those are the big names. But I do want to, I think I commented on it when you talked with Derek Lux.
Okay.
Because I know he was kind of joking about, he was like, oh, Cam and Adam will never have me on now because they've gotten bigger names and stuff. But to us, you don't get to be, a Tyler Bunch without first being a Sarah Nolan or a Derek Lux or whoever. Yeah. It's all about coming up, and we just want to talk to people who are passionate about the art form. And so that could be anybody and everybody. Obviously, it helps if they, have a body of work. There's a lot of people who are passionate about puppetry who don't really take part in it beyond just taking it in. Yeah. I mean, we just love bringing new people in, and getting that chance to talk with them has been amazing.
So cool. And a little bit further into you, Cam, just as far as like that, what's so cool, and I was talking to Adam about this, I love what you and Adam have, just as I mentioned it earlier on our test, but just you both have the Statler and Waldorf, the Bert and Ernie type of thing going, and especially it came out in your bloopers video.
Oh yeah.
When you
and that was
directing
it. I'm still not totally convinced that he didn't go back and crop all the other videos that we had done. No. I mean, that's Adam and I. We love each other, and we do some of our best work together. This show, a lot of the commercials that we've done have been very fruitful and have been wonderful collaborations, but we drive each other mad. And it's only because we spar like brothers, and it's never because I want to be right. It's because you just want to make sure that the product at the end of the day is what it's going to be. And my favorite thing to do that has happened, and it's happened multiple times, is where we've been in a meeting and we're talking about something, and he argues his point really well, and I've argued my point really well, and at the same moment we flip, and he has suddenly bought into the idea that I was advocating for, and he's bought into the idea that I was advocating for, and now all of a sudden I'm trying to tell him why he was right, and he's trying to yell at me about why I was right, which is my favorite. I mean, and it's and it's just would it be nice if sometimes we didn't have to have those long arguments? Sure, that'd be delightful, and that's happened. That has happened, but we both think in very different ways. Our artistic influences are very different, and so creating something in one artistic, unified voice is sometimes difficult. But like I said, we do some of our best work together. And I think in some ways that's why the podcast has worked as well as it has, because you're seeing both of our voices in real time. And we're really able to, as we're talking to this person who's really interesting, we kind of have a back and forth that is largely unspoken between the two of us, but he's able to ask a couple questions. I'm able to ask my couple questions, it works really well together. And I think that's part of why we work so well together on the show as co-hosts.
Yeah. That's so good. And jumping around a little bit, but going back even further for baby Cam, you said second grader Cam, where is that specifically where it started? Like what was kind of like your home life to where that like puppetry became this is what I want to do, or this is my passion thing?
You know, a kid of the 90s, so Sesame Street and the Muppets and any kind of television shows, I was always watching them.
Because how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm going to be 29 later this month, actually.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I was born in 1990. And
dude, happy birthday month, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, so you know, puppets were always around not only while I was watching TV and stuff, but then all of the toys and things that I had in my bedroom, and when I'd go to my grandparents' house, it was all either Sesame Street or Muppets or Power Rangers or Toy Story or whatever. But a lot of my playtime, and by function of Sesame Street and Muppets being puppet shows, a lot of the merchandise, especially back then, were puppets. So I had a Bert, an Elmo, a Cookie Monster, a Kermit, like different hand puppets that allowed me to do all this, so that as I was playing puppetry, and I didn't really think of it as that necessarily. I had some what am I trying to say? Some documentaries growing up that I definitely cite as like a 4-year-old probably shouldn't have been watching, like The World of Jim Henson, PBS Great Performances documentary. But I was. And it kind of evolved and snowballed, and for a time, I thought the way you became a Muppeteer was by learning every single Muppet. And by learning every Muppet movie and knowing who all the performers were and all that sort of stuff. It's not how you become a Muppeteer. It's how you become a Muppet nerd. And
which big time helps.
Yes and no. It's separate. It's separate, truly.
Yeah, it is.
Because if you get too far into that, then you're stuck. I think just wanting to aspire to that and only that. And,
that's true. That's a good insight.
Yeah, and I think when you talk to people like Derek or Adam or anybody who's been influenced by that artistry, you realize that there's more to it. And when you meet a lot of the people who do it, that's only a part-time thing for them. You look at someone like Martin Robinson, who just put up back in October a passion project that he's been working on for years it was a Halloween horror musical. And how cool is that? But that's so completely far and removed from Sesame Street and the Muppets. So that was something that I think really came high school, college time, where I tried to kind of expand my understanding about some of this stuff.
Dude, so cool.
Yeah.
And what would you say is the beginning of? And I talked with Adam a little bit about this. But where did it start with Puppeteers for you and him to kind of start the ball rolling with that?
Sure. So I mentioned how we had been working on lots of projects together, him and I, and we both got to a point where we both had very steady day jobs. You know, when we first met, we were both in college, and so we'd have summers off, and we let our hair down and run wild, and we had all the time in the world to mess around and do stuff. But as we got older, we had
as we're getting up in our age.
Yes, as we got closer to becoming Statler and Waldorf in real life, we had less time to do some of those things. So we were spending more time doing like the 48-hour film competitions in Buffalo and different things like that. And he had just gotten married? Yeah, he had just gotten married in October, and then that following March, we were approached by a friend of his who wanted to do a commercial she was selling kickballs she has a independently run she does kickballs and other outdoor games, and she was selling her kickballs at Wegmans supermarkets in Buffalo, and the proceeds from that was going to support the local children's hospital. And she asked if we could make this little commercial for her that she could put up on social media and stuff. And we immediately said yes. I think we got it done like in the span of I don't know if you have it in Florida, but like we have a March time, like winter, fall break, or excuse me, spring break.
Yeah.
There's the word, but it's like, or maybe it was more February, because it happened in that time. It was like before Easter season and springing, and doesn't matter. But we had a short amount of time to do it, and it was one of the first projects where there was none of that headbutting, where we were just bouncing ideas off of one another, and it all clicked really quickly. He built the puppet, I did the storyboards. We got to the supermarket, we shot it in a couple hours. He turned it around really quick with the editing. I threw the graphics together. Like it just, all the gears were clicking in the right way, and we kind of wrapped it up and said we really enjoyed doing that. And not arguing, and how can we do something sustainable that we could kind of do and just put it out there in a short amount of time on a hopefully weekly or monthly basis, that we're not gonna, like, that we kind of have a template in place.
A show.
A show.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And so we kicked around a whole bunch of ideas. We were at first thinking of doing some things with small little mech puppets. We drew up some designs for that. And just kind of as those ideas developed and other things came around, we got closer to talking about, like, is it a podcast show type thing? He had some examples of shows where it was like part podcast, part those little clips and stuff, and that's where it flipped to kind of being more about doing more of a traditional podcast.
Yeah.
And that's, I should say, and I think he mentioned this when you talked to him, that's my version of it. He has a slightly different version of that history. Again, that the process of creating Puppeteers kind of was a there was lots of arguing at the beginning, especially getting the name. But once we figured it out, again, it all clicked really well, and it'll be our first interview that we recorded was in May. The show premiered in June of 2018. So we're quickly approaching 2 years.
Adam said, I have the correct version.
Yeah, so do I.
We both have the correct.
Yeah.
Whatever's your
multiple
truth.
sides to the same story. So, and the truth lies somewhere in between there.
In the middle there.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. So for you, okay, so can we run through the gambit of just like some things that you've talked about the Puppeteers of America, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, is that not what Jim Henson himself was connected in Am I right, or was that
Sure, Jim Henson and like all sorts of other amazing, incredible artists. Maybe what you're thinking, Jim Henson helped to found Unima, which is sort of the global arm, and that's the international organization that he was was one of the founders of. But yeah, P of A, I mean, pretty much anyone who you would have talked to, Adam's a member of that, Derek, pretty much anyone who's been on our show, I would imagine, are members of the P of A. But yeah, so I've been a member of that on and off because I haven't always had the $50 to
I feel you, man.
Subscribe to that, but I'm a member currently, and there are some wonderful resources for puppeteers, and they do their festivals every other year. Yeah, it's a great organization. I've been to 2 festivals, and I've helped out 2. Yeah, I guess 2, and have helped out a lot with those, kind of bringing my graphic design skills into that. And but the really big thing for me has been the National Puppetry Conference at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center.
Where is that?
That's in Waterford, Connecticut, and that's the program that Pam Arciero is the artistic director of. That was founded in 1991. And they'll be celebrating its 30th season this coming June. Yeah,
dude, awesome.
And that's where I've met most of my friends and collaborators beyond the Adam and the Buffalo People. Some of my dear friends, and we kind of joke that that Puppeteers kind of sometimes accidentally veers into the O'Neill podcast because it's a lot of our friends and stuff who we know
Dude, it's so cool though. Okay, speaking of friends, I have to throw this out because this is like beating in the back of my brain, and I'm just asking for a friend. But as far as your lineup for Puppeteers podcast, or possible lineup, is there any possibility or desire for you guys to get? I got 3 in my brain right now.
Oh boy.
These are kind of big ones, but just asking.
Yeah.
I'll throw them out there, and then you just let me know if it's an interest or whatever.
Okay.
All right. Kevin Clash, Eric Jacobson, and Matt Vogel.
Interested in all 3 of them coming on the show. Who wouldn't want to talk to any of those people, for sure. Yeah, and certain folks are harder to reach out to.
Of course.
And the benefit of us now doing this for 2 years is that it's starting to build a reputation of its own. We've gotten some really cool people who have kind of reached out to us to say, hey, can we come on the show? And people who we thought, who were on our list of like, oh gosh, we need to, do you think they'll say yes? And then out of the blue, we get an email from them.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. And I'll say, so tomorrow, on the December 4th, we have Steve Axtell. We interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and we've been sitting on it for a little bit. But he's coming out tomorrow.
Which, for those of you who don't know, Steve Axtell created a lot of puppets that are pretty much, those puppets are famous on like America's Got Talent and things like that because of winners who use their puppets.
Right. Yeah.
Terry Fader, who you have
Darcy Lynn
on there. Darcy Lynn. Yeah. Which one did Darcy Lynn have that was an Axtell puppet?
She had, I think I missed this. I don't know if it was maybe for one of the AJT champions or something, but she had a Simon Cowell puppet.
Really?
That Steve did for her.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know when it was from, to be honest, but Steve mentioned it, I believe, or maybe it was just when I was Googling photos of his work. That came up, and it was on his website, maybe.
Very cool.
So yeah, Steve comes out tomorrow, and then in 2 weeks, we have Spencer Lott coming on. Spencer was actually a roommate of mine one summer at the O'Neill, but he actually, his big claim to fame as of right, like this in this present moment, is he worked on, he was the puppet captain or lead on the Mr. Rogers movie that just came out.
Awesome.
So him and a couple other folks worked on, but I think he was sort of the lead fabricator for recreating those gorgeous, iconic puppets that, I mean, look like they stole them from the Smithsonian or whatever. I mean, they were spot on.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to talking to him, and that's the 18th that will be dropping. It'll be our last recorded episode of the year. And that night, Adam and I are doing our first Puppeteers Live special. I
was just going to ask that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So last year we did a very special where we kind of celebrated Carol Spinney because he had just announced his retirement, and we got all sorts of people send us videos and songs and poems and all sorts of ththings that we kind of read and collaged. But this year, Adam and I are going to watch a 48-hour film that we worked on back in 2015. And we haven't watched it. I don't know if we've ever actually watched it together, but neither of us have seen it in like 2 years. So we're, it's up on our website right now at
It's actually 48 hours? Long.
No. It's 7 minutes long.
Gotcha.
No, it's
That's
a competition.
easier to watch.
Yes, for sure. For people who don't know, it's a film competition that you work on writing and editing and putting it all together from Friday evening to Sunday evening. But yeah, so we're going to watch that. It's available for people to watch right now at our website, and we're going to be kind of watching it and starting it and stopping it, and just kind of commenting on it and seeing how it holds up. So it should be fun.
So real quick,
much more to come next year.
Oh, yes. So a couple things. Patrick Boots says, I loved A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Great film. I can't wait to see it. So excited about that. Steve Axtell is going to be joining us Puppet Shack Live here next week. So that'll be cool. So that's cool. You guys just had Steve Axtell. So be looking out for Puppeteers podcast on Steve Axtell tomorrow. And then Adam said, talk about the Geppetto Festival.
Oh, yeah. Geppetto Festival was initially my senior project when I was a student at Damon College. I was a graphic design major and a theater minor when I was at the school. And for my senior capstone project, I kind of pooled those two things together and designed a website that has never really gotten off the ground, but it was sort of a central hub for all things puppets and puppetry. It was like combining Wikipedia and Netflix, basically, for puppeteers. But part of that was also going to be creating this puppet festival called the Geppetto Festival, which I received grant money from the school, and I was able to create that, and we brought puppeteers in from out of town, and they all performed. It was sort of like a TED conference, but just for puppets. And we did that again 2 years after that, so the last one was in 2015. And it's a really great time, and the idea is to kind of bring puppetry to places like Buffalo that maybe only has one or two puppeteers, and kind of infesting an area with a small group of puppeteers, and kind of just showing everything that's wonderful and exciting about it. And a big piece of it, which is part of why we haven't really done another one since, and we're busy doing other things, but it's imperative to me that the event is totally free for everybody, because we want people to be able to just come in and experience everything that art form has. And I'll throw it to Adam. One of my favorite parts of the second time we did the festival was we did it at Damon College, where I graduated from, and they offered us their senior studio space. So we had a giant room. I could send you some pictures and you
yes, please
share them on Facebook or whatever.
Definitely.
But it was like true like modern art gallery space, and we armatured about 30 of Adam's puppets and had them all on display, and it was a really cool kind of retrospective of Adam's work up to that point. And, it took us 2 days to set it all up because armaturing characters is not an easy thing to do. But yeah,
are you saying like
really proud of it.
forming them to be like freestanding type of thing?
Yeah, so we had them all on different stands, and then yeah, we you know, they're still functioning puppets. A lot of them had arm rods in them and stuff. We got armature wire, so they were kind of posed in different ways. Lots of
That's awesome.
Pins and strings and different things. But yeah, we were both really proud of it. And like I said, I'll send you some photos because it came out really cool.
Please do, yeah.
Yeah.
The and so this Geppetto Festival is you're still doing that to date?
So it's still you know, a name that I own. It's still a website that I have in my back pocket. It's kind of on the shelf right now, but it's something that Adam and I have kind of been kicking back and forth about trying to make happen again. Yeah.
And I would obviously be in Buffalo there, right?
Yeah, we would definitely do another one here before. You know, my dream, like TED conferences, would be that people could buy licenses for it and, you know, have one in where you are in Florida, or like have them kind of, you know, to have them in New York or LA or whatever is great, but to kind of do them in the middle of nowhere and just bring a bunch of weirdos in and let everybody know how special the art is.
Yes, please. That's huge. And so if that starts to come up, we'll definitely be sharing lots of that here. And,
for sure.
Which it's like the TED stuff, and we're going to be done here in a few minutes. But I was so proud and so amazed, and just when I was first checking out Puppeteers podcasts, I saw your TED Talk that you did with your buddy Scrap, correct? Do you have him with you?
I do have him here. Let's see. So this is Scrap. He was in a bag in my trunk because I perform with him every once in a while.
Oh, what do you do?
So I am on, I'm a member of our local comedy sports league. I love it. Improv with Buffalo Comedy Sports. I'm in their minor league, but I'm also on their Flesh versus Felt team. So every once in a while, the puppets will compete against the other human meat puppet improvisers. I
love it. I've seen pictures of that you've done, like you have on your Instagram right here.
Yeah. So yeah, Scrap is there every once in a while.
Scrap, you're amazing looking.
And
you created Scrap?
Hello. Yeah, so I designed and built the first one. It was actually very nice.
He has a lot of eyes.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he has 40/40 vision.
Wow. I only have 10/10.
But so he was originally the Monstro puppet pattern, I think, from Project Puppet. People are familiar with that. And so the first one was big. And it was a different kind of green fur. And it was actually right before I was giving that TED Talk that I talked to Adam about helping me rebuild him. And so Adam had a crack at the at Scrap 2.0
at the quadruple eyes, literally 4 eyes.
Yeah, and the original one, you know, is very true to the original original design. I have them somewhere in a box, probably.
You still have the original one too? Yeah,
just because I don't throw stuff out.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but what's funny about that original one, and this was a puppeteer story of many, but the first Scrap that I built, because I was totally new to materials, it was really one of the first puppets that I built. But I used, you know, that like thick craft foam that you get at Joann's. It's like
Yeah.
a quarter of an inch. I used that for a mouth plate, so it was instantly like gummy and didn't have the right texture.
No.
But I also used, I thought that, I shouldn't say, when I went to Home Depot to ask for gaff tape, and I showed them a picture of what I was looking for, they gave me Gorilla Tape, which I thought was the same thing. And Gorilla Tape, for anyone who's used it, over time sort of like cements and gets harder. So that original scrap, the mouth plate itself is like falling apart, but the hinge gets harder and harder to move it. So I was fighting that thing, and I remember, I think one of the last times I used him before Adam built the second one, I was doing a song, and like halfway through, my hand just like totally cramped up and went numb because it was just a poorly made tool. Right? Because at the end of the day, that's
totally
what
been there.
These things are instruments, right? So like I'm trying to, play a nice little song in my guitar, and I'm suddenly, working with something from Fisher-Price that like, costs 2 cents.
My arm is cramping up just hearing about this.
Yeah, for sure. That's why Adam builds the puppets, and I make our spreadsheets and do some of the more, craftier things that way with producing and stuff. But I will say, I'm working right now. I designed a mech for a Professor Snape puppet that I'm building, which is going to be a slam piece that I'm going to be taking out for a little bit. So that's
yes.
Follow here. There's more to come, but it'll be cool.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Clark Kathleen says, "Hello, I love puppets. See, we're so proud of you."
You're at the right spot.
So good. All right, here we're gonna show. So Scrap is a monster, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Here I've got him here.
So I have I went the more alien route.
Mm-hmm.
This is a JoJo Puppet Studio. Very well done. Puppet here. This is Ash.
Nice.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Oh, so good to meet you. What?
Yeah.
How does all of your family have 4 eyes?
Oh no, my dad has many more. Yeah, they say when I go through puberty, I'm gonna get a couple more.
Man.
Yeah.
So you originated from this planet?
I guess so. Yeah. I don't really remember much before I was 2 years old. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Me too. Except I was 102.
Oh. Yeah. Hi, mate. See, that's why I don't. You asked me before about.
I'm so proud of you, Cam.
I just and I realize I just told you like, oh, he was in a bag because I use him for improv and stuff, but like I could use him like in the moment, but I just there's something for me about like puppets talking to puppets sometimes. It's a little yeah. And I think,
is he more of a human talker?
Yeah, I think it's just more, I like the construct of whatever like sketch or scene or whatever it is that it's doing. And I think part of it too is because so much of my upbringing was the Muppet style stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always concerned that I'm coming off as kind of a Muppet geek.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Yeah, which
I feel this. I've felt both sides. It's
and
different.
I mean you've seen my office. I showed it off today, and there's around this room there's some stuff, and it's always we're going into Christmas season, so like of course I've got a stack of DVDs this high of all of the stuff that with Muppets that I really love, and it was formative.
Speaking of. This is something this is a coloring book.
Yeah, coloring book, yeah.
Dude, my cousins gave me this. So it was used, obviously. There's a little bit in there, but dude,
sweet.
Just So cool. I had to show that off to you since it's
Awesome.
Christmas.
Yeah. But so no, and I've been to different festivals and meetings and other things where it feels like all of the Muppet geeks, like whatever, are all talking in a group, and none of them are discussing with each other. It's all their puppets kind of talking to each other. And I just I'd rather not be that person, because to me there's a place for that. I'm not knocking that. And I've been there. But to me it's about, why did I create this character? And I want to talk to the puppeteers and the artists, and because honestly, I myself, I don't like talking to puppets really. Like I've been to Sesame Street twice, and I visited the sets, and like
it's so cool.
I don't want to talk to Cookie Monster. Like
I want to talk.
I'd love to talk to David Rudman, and but I want to talk. I want to talk to the people.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of why I love doing this as well, and that's why Puppeteers podcast is so amazing. I was the same as you as a kid, and I loved watching the behind the scenes. Like, I really don't like DVDs or Blu-rays that have no extras on them. Yeah. That have no behind the scenes. Like, don't give me that gift because I can watch that on Netflix or on YouTube or anywhere else now. Give me the thing with all the behind the scenes. Because you can watch the movie anywhere now. But it's the behind the scenes stuff where I am like eating it up. And so a fan of Puppeteers podcast, that much more. That's why I love talking. I'm loving talking with you and Adam, even getting to know a little bit more behind the scenes of you guys and what you guys do. And like, I would love to see more of that as well. Like your blooper stuff. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
And it's something that I'm really hoping for, and we'll see if it happens. But I'm hoping that for our 2nd year anniversary that we do a double episode where he talks to me, and then halfway through I talk to him.
Like interview each other type of thing.
Yes. And just like,
I love it.
Have an alternate reality where like Adam is the only host of Puppeteers, and he's brought on Cam Garrity, and vice versa.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, and Adam is reminding me that you could see more raw footage from the Making of Puppeteers on our Patreon page.
On Patreon. Check
Patreon.com/puppeteerspod.
Yes.
For as little as $1 an episode, you can see all the behind the scenes things that we post. And something that we have started doing is posting the raw footage of the Google Hangouts.
Oh, cool.
So
Adam just said occasional raw episodes.
Yeah. So you could see like us, our first logging in with the puppeteer and kind of talking them through our pre-show spiel.
Sweet.
And then sometimes there's a little bit at the end too of like, cool, that went great or whatever. And we have some of that too in our like Puppeteer archives that we might start pulling out at some point too.
I love it. I love it. And then two, more of you guys puppeteering. I would be so cool to see, and would love to see even like behind the scenes stuff of that. Like something I just looked at you have here on your Instagram page is a picture. It was a promo. I don't know if you created it or if Adam created it, but it was a promo, like kind of postcard thing of Krutinger Puppets and Puppeteers podcast and all those things. Yeah. Who created that?
So we both kind of did the photo shoot together, but I did the design for the postcard.
I love that it was your characters as your puppeteer doing Puppeteers podcasts. I love that.
That was a nice little Easter egg. Yeah.
I love that. So that was, I think that was Scrap, and that was like a wolf type character that he does.
His character Howie.
I saw that. I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
And what I'll probably do is on our Facebook page, Puppet Shack, I'm gonna post your TED Talk, which was amazing. And then we'll have to post some other things of yours as well. So everybody be sure and check out Puppeteers podcast, because Oh my goodness, absolutely amazing. Steve Axtell is coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
December 4th. And check out Adam Krutinger's YouTube channel to see more of those. And then is there anything else that you want people to go and check out as far as
not that I could think of right now. Just and really, if you're following Puppeteers on Instagram or Facebook or at our website, you're going to see all sorts of info there. And if you want to become a Patreon patron too, we don't mind people helping us keep the lights on. So
yes. So where does a mug come into play to that? Is that
a mug
Patreon,
comes into yes. So we are phasing out the mug orders. It used to be something that you could do. Like anyone could just buy a mug, and now we're putting it at a place where if you become a fan at either $3 or $7 an episode, you'll get the mug after a certain number of. I think if you do. At $3, it's after 6 episodes, and if you're at the $7 an episode, you get it after 3 episodes or something like that. I would have to double check the math, but it's all there. And if you do the $7 an episode, you also get a T-shirt at 6 episodes.
Cool.
So yeah,
very cool. Yeah, I know. And your mug is the red mug.
Mine's red. Adam's is blue. But it comes in 6. It comes in 6 colors. So
cool.
There's red, blue, green.
Is it Kermit green or regular green?
It's a pretty regular green. I'm trying to think if I don't have an extra. But it's like out of the box green crayon.
Cool.
Green, and then there's an orange, a black, and a pink.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm gonna have to jump on that, especially for getting in some of these Instagrams and stuff. All right, very last thing before we go.
Yeah.
Usually what I sign off with every time, and I thank you again so much, Cam, for being on here and hanging out, promoting some Puppeteers podcasts and things. I love this, and I definitely would love to have you back again sometime.
Yeah, anytime.
If you're interested. So
and we'll have to do one with me and Adam in the same room.
Yeah, that'll be so cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so for you guys, or even you personally, I felt this. I just knew this calling years ago when I was young, as a teenager. My dad passed away when I was 10, and so I started to jump into this went dark.
No, that's okay.
But as far as a mission, like kind of either life mission or things goes, I just felt this calling from God and you would know this kind of scripture type of thing, but he was just saying, you're a father to the fatherless. And so I years later became a kids pastor, a youth pastor, and then we just this past year adopted our 2 girls. And so just kind of really, thank you so much. And so it's just been kind of this back of the mind, but really started to become prominent, and especially with all the different puppeteering I'll be doing and online stuff and anything I usually end off with bringing the father to the fatherless. And so for you, what kind of vision or kind of calling would you say, or kind of goal for you is it with either all the puppeteering or like Puppeteers podcast? What is kind of like that underlying mission, would you say?
Yeah, I think for me, it's a lot about being the person, striving to be the person who I needed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Which is similar to your version of being a father to the fatherless.
Yeah.
And I will say I had like tremendous support from parents and family members, and I found the resources, and I feel like people are experiencing this in any kind of niche community. The internet has really kind of blown things up with the resources and ways to learn about different things, but I would have killed to have puppeteers to listen to when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And which is why, and people kind of, I have one friend who teases me mercilessly. She's like, "You listen to your own show?" And I'm like, yeah, because I get to hear, Marty Robinson talk for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And some nerd with glasses chimes in every once in a while, but for the most part, I get to hear Martin Robinson or Tyler Bunch or Bart Rockaburn or like all these really fantastic people. And I think too, from the performance end of things, I think in the same way. I love the George Lucas quote. I think it was George Lucas. I know he said it, whether or not it originated from him, but like, make the movie that you always wanted to see.
Yeah.
And so we try to do that. And it's hard too when the shows that we loved and stuff.
Or it's backwards, but life.
I was gonna say it's backwards.
Write your own ending.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing, and I don't really talk about it, and I try not to promote it.
Yeah.
Overly, but I do occasional visits at our local children's hospital as the bird. I take no ownership of the fact, obviously it's not my character. It's not, but
that's huge.
I visit, and I spend 2 hours or so visiting. We do every floor of the Buffalo Children's Hospital, and I'm the only. There it is. So I walk around as Dr. Bird, and we've got my stethoscope.
I love that. Okay, I see that.
Yeah, and what's really cool about that too is that I'm the only costume character at our local children's hospital besides Santa, who's able to actually talk to the kids. So I do the voice, and I'm able to relate to them and chat with them. And sometimes it's just a quick wave. Sometimes I'll be in a room for 5 or 10 minutes, and I just saw Adam. It's actually his prom picture. Yep. If only. But
yep, he said he would heckle you.
Yeah, for sure. It's deserved. No, but I grew up I was in and out of hospitals a lot as a kid. And the Muppets kept me sane. I would be watching videos and tapes and different things on my, iPad or portable DVD player or whatever. And as a young kid, I could have really used a visit from Big Bird. And so those are the most rewarding things that I
love it, man.
Able to hopefully inspire some other people. And I could hear someone's calling you that it's time for you to go too. But I'll share one fun quick story and then we can wrap up. But there was one day when I think it was the second or third time I was visiting as Big Bird, and the person who sort of escorts me through the hospital, she has a list of like who the kids are and how old they are and stuff, and she's like, this kid's 14, he probably doesn't want a visit from Big Bird. And I say, let's visit him anyway.
Let's try it.
And she opens the door and he says, do you want a visit from Dr. Bird? And he immediately sees, I call him Medium Bird because he's only like 6'8" or something like that. But he sees the whole thing and he goes, "That's not Carol Spinney." And no, I'm not. And he's like, "Are you Matt Vogel?" And I go,
"That's awesome."
No, and the mom, his mom and grandmother were in there and said, what other 14-year-old knows who Matt Vogel is? And And, you know, Dr. Bird kind of turned to them and was like, well, there are some very special people who know at that young age who those, you know, and kind of
That's a Cam Garrity TED
as
Talk
much as I could
callback.
do, as much as I could do the wink through the, you know, through the necktie. It's kind of like, let him be. He'll grow up into who and whatever he wants to be when he grows up.
Oh, dude, that is a Cam Garrity TED Talk callback right there.
It was pretty funny.
Oh,
So.
that's amazing, because that's so true. What other 14-year-old knows who Matt Vogel is?
Seriously. So.
Dude, that's awesome. Did that did a little bit of you like light up when he said that?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like,
absolutely.